Hello, this is Jordan. This video is being recorded on the evening of Friday, December 22nd, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. And also, I'd like to wish everyone out there a very Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah or happy whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope it's a great holiday for you and everyone else out there. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about gold and silver and the gold and silver stocks. So we're coming up on the end of the year, the month, and the quarter. So pretty exciting time for technicians. Looking at next week, I think we have, 3 or 4 more days left in the year of trading. So I'm going to be watching, and I'll get into this in the next slide, but watching well, it's all the same close, really. But from a quarterly standpoint, I'm very curious about where things will end. So here we have the weekly charts, weekly candle charts. We got gold here. We got silver here. It's clear that the major resistance, still 2100, still 26 for silver. Silver, we know this was a nasty reversal. So silver has more work to do than gold to get back to 26. However, macro comment, if we are going to go into a little bit of a blow-off type situation or a mini melt-up in the market where you see money going into bonds, it's also going into stocks, and then some of that gets into precious metals. In that kind of environment, especially when there's no threat of recession, silver will outperform gold. So that's something to look for potentially in the new year. But anyway, so gold almost 2070. So it's getting much closer to 2100. So I would be really surprised if gold had much upside next week. I'm just hoping that we see it kind of maintain these gains into the end of the year, because there is, the closer it gets to 2100, I think you're going to see some selling. I would be surprised if it was able to break through 2100 next week. Same thing with silver in 26. Again, silver also has resistance. It has some resistance here at 24.5 actually, and 25 as well. So I'm not that optimistic that we're going to add to these gains next week, but I could be wrong. And in gold's case, it would be a good sign if we just maintain these gains. So here we have the quarterly candle charts. Gold here, silver here. Gold, this looks pretty nice. Want to see gold continue, close and really hold these levels. Okay, so going back, you have kind of daily resistance around 2050-ish. Remember, the weekly resistance, I believe, was at 2025 and 2028. So, you can call it 2030 just to make it round numbers. So getting a quarterly close, above 2050, 2060, that would be nice, because then you're firmly above that, former weekly resistance around 2030. Now the quarterly, I believe so it's right around 2000 actually is a quarterly resistance as well. So that's why it's important to close above 2000, and also convincingly. We don't want to see like a close of 2010 or 2017, giving up huge gains in the coming days before the end of the year. That wouldn't be a good sign. But to see it close at these levels would be encouraging into the new year. Looking at silver, the quarterly chart, we can see just people stop with the trend lines. These trend lines, these diagonals, just please. This is the key level for silver. Like, it hasn't broken anything till it breaks this level. And the quarterly chart, does a really nice job. Where is it on the quarter? I think it's 27 on the quarterly chart. Look how clear this trend is. Support here, it breaks below it. And here, look how many times it's tried to get back up to 27, or at least break through it. So, I do want to see, it would be nice if silver had some gains next week and it closed above this resistance here, which is, right, or you call it the high 24. So if silver made a close next week at 25, and it would be eclipsing these months. So that would be nice. But we'll see. I have a lot more to say at the end of next week, obviously. Now, looking at the gold and silver stocks. So these are weekly charts. We did have an ugly reversal today in the miners, but nevertheless, if you look at the weekly charts, I mean, not too bad of a reversal, but you can see the ticks here, the dojis for this week. But nevertheless, I mean, looking at this price action, zooming out a little bit, it does look bullish to me. I mean, looking at the silver juniors, let's start here. This is a double bottom. It's rallied back up to here. So this is a, kind of a complex potential head and shoulders. And so if you get a sell-off or correction for a few weeks, that could set up this move here to 12. So this is encouraging price action. And then I did say on an interview a couple weeks ago that the head and shoulders pattern had failed. We did have this large snapback, but now it looks to be resuming course. So GDXJ, I mean, if you look at the miners, part of the reason we had this reversal, there's resistance here where all these things reversed. Looking at GDX, I mean, there's resistance here around 3200. You can see it here, here, here. For GDXJ, we can see resistance here, here. Okay, and then it's been struggling to break through. So that's part of the reason. And also you see it, the Huey here, resistance here, resistance here. But nevertheless, the price action is encouraging because you have a short-term uptrend, and it's quite possible that we correct for a week or two. But if we're just watching the price action carefully, I'm going back and forth trying to decide which. They all look so similar. I can't spend all day going through all of them. But let's just look at the Huey. So you have this rebound here, and now, I mean, this looks like a cup that could be forming here potentially. That looks like a cut. Same thing for GDX. Once it gets through this resistance, same thing for GDXJ. So we'll see. I mean, my interview with Gary Tanashian, I can't remember if he said it, but he's looking for potentially you could have a rally to this level. Huey 340 and GDX, what is that, 40 or 39 or 38? So there's potentially more upside in precious metals as we start the year. Now, unfortunately, that could be on the back of stock market strength, it's not going to be the beginning of a huge, bull market move. I'm not saying I would sell this move, but just keep that in mind because you're not getting the huge move in precious metals until the stock market cracks first. So just keep that in mind. But, that aside, looking at the charts and the technicals, they look pretty good at the end of the year and, as we go into next year. So very interested in how gold and silver close this coming week. So watch that. That's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Talk to you guys again in the next video.